Welcome to the Fulfilling the Mission podcast, where we talk to students and faculty and alumni about colleges and departments on campus that are fulfilling the mission of BYU-Idaho. My name is Natalia Hepworth, and today I am joined by Jade Ford and Nathan Jack. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Jade, you are from a city in South Florida that has a really cool name, so I'm just going to let you say it.
It's called Okeechobee, Florida.
Awesome. And you are also a senior in electrical engineering.
That's right.
Very good. Brother Jack received a bachelor's in electrical and computer engineering from Utah State University in 2007 and a master's and PhD in electrical and computer engineering in 2012 at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. He's had about 12 years of industry experience, and he's worked at Micron, IBM, and Intel. Did I miss anything? Awesome. Let's keep going because you're just super interesting. He came to the university about 2 years ago. His last job was as a research and development engineering manager at Intel. You were originally from Southern Utah, from Monticello.
Yes.
Awesome. He's been the recipient of several research and best paper awards. He's published over 25 papers and holds several patents. His true passion lies in teaching, and he loves working at the university. You also enjoy woodworking, wood turning, camping, fishing, hiking, and crabbing. And he is married and has 4 children. Awesome. And he makes really cool wooden bowls. I wish we had some.
I should have brought one.
We'll add a picture. We have to add a picture later because they are really cool. Well, wonderful. Well, thank you both for being here today. Well, let's just jump right into some of the degrees that your college offers. So we have cloud computing, computer engineering, computer science, cybersecurity, software engineering, electrical engineering, web design, and development.
Yes.
Just to name a few.
Quite a few there.
Yes, awesome. Why so many offerings in your college? I love it.
Yeah, we recently merged 2 departments together, so it's one of the bigger departments on campus. Something like 3,000 students and all these degrees. You could kind of think of us as if it has to do with electricity and computers, come to us. We do all of it. So anything with electricity in it, our majors could do that.
Very good. I've always wondered what the difference between computer science and computer engineering are. Do you get that question all the time?
Yeah, that's a good one. So computer science is more about how do I use a computer to solve problems. So I need to write software, write some algorithms to solve a problem that we have. Computer engineering is creating that computer. So designing the chips, the hardware, the circuit boards in it, and some programming as well, maybe writing the drivers that let the software talk to the hardware. So computer engineering is more the hardware, computer science would be the software side of it.
Very cool. Well, what drew you to electrical engineering? Why did you choose that as a major?
I thought it was really interesting. Kind of like you said, I weighed all those options. I definitely was more towards the hardware side of it. And I started getting good at math and took a lot of math to get there and just realized that electrical
That's
engineering.
like a communication major's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
So
It's brutal at times. It wasn't easy.
No, you're good.
But
That's
yeah,
good.
I definitely like more of the math of it and figuring stuff out with the hardware.
So you've only been here for about 2 years, but you are already the chair
Yeah.
of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. So how did that happen? You're just that good.
Well,
That's awesome.
It's interesting, especially at this university. All the faculty come here to teach. That's it. We want to teach. So nobody really comes here thinking, I want to be the department chair or the dean or whoever. We just want to be with our students. But they need somebody to be the chair. And so they take polls of the faculty and they talk to various faculty and then they invite someone to do it. And they invited me, so I'll do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You volunteered as tribute. That's really cool. Well, how's it been so far?
It's been very interesting. It's fun to see what goes on behind the scenes and how much all of the faculty, we all have one thing in common, and that's just we want to help students. And so it's nice to start with that foundation and then build from there. But every faculty member in our department and on this campus, I think, we just want to help. So it's fun to see that.
Yeah, very cool. Well, so why should people choose to do a major in your department?
One advantage to doing anything with electronics or computing is the job demand and the salary. They're very, very good wages. If you can't think of any part of your life that's not impacted by technology these days, and that's just continuing to grow. So demand is there. And I really like just the problem-solving aspect. You're presented with real-world problems, and then you think, how could I use software or hardware technology of some kind to make life better? And you might think of programmers as just doing game design or something, writing video games, and there's some of that. But really, you have an opportunity to change the world, make the world a better place, and you can do that through technology. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good. What's a day in the life of an electrical engineering major like?
Just homework, right?
Yeah, homework. Like I said, a lot of math. There is a lot of learning and a lot of outside learning that goes into it that kind of relates, especially in Brother Jack's, the class I'm taking with him right now. He talks a lot about things going on in the news that are current. So even though we're learning the fundamentals, we still get some outside sources that we get to look into and look forward to.
Absolutely. So describe your major just a little bit more, just so I can understand what electrical engineering actually entails.
Yeah, so electrical engineering, we do a lot with signals, a lot with like hardware calculation, finding out how much power needs to go to stuff. And a lot goes into that. There's a lot of different branches that you can go out to. And like you said, there's a high job demand. So there's a lot of different fields that you can take the fundamentals we're learning here and choose what you like doing specifically.
It sounds like we need you at the radio station. I don't know.
I'm sure you got somebody there that's electrical engineering.
Yeah, he's great. No, very cool. Well, awesome. Well, what are some of the things that, why do you think that students, I should say, are drawn to your department, and why do you think that they want to pursue, as far as the students that you have currently, why do they want to pursue a career in your department?
Yeah, a lot of them are like me. When I was young, I would grow up just buying broken electronic parts, TVs, radios, whatever, and just tear them apart and see how they work. That's just what I did as a kid for fun, right? I know, I'm a nerd.
No, you guys aren't nerds.
So we kind of are, and I tell our students, embrace that. Just, it's okay, be a nerd, right? But a lot of us just grew up tinkering with stuff. That's not the case for everybody, but we all seem to have in common this love of technology and this love of problem solving, and I think that draws a lot of students to our department.
Yeah, very cool. Did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I did a year of civil engineering before I switched to electrical engineering. Wow. And the big switch for me was that the technology was so new and I liked it. I felt that civil engineering, like they'd been doing it for so long and all the technology was so new and I loved that aspect.
Okay, very cool. So as far as what's happening in the world and like AI technology, I mean, how does that play into everything that you guys are doing in your department?
It's huge, yeah. AI kind of exploded onto the scene and has really changed the way we write software, for example. AI can write a lot of it. That doesn't eliminate the need for people who know how to program, but we are trying to help our students learn how to use AI to write parts of code or debug code or test code for you. And not everything you get out of AI works or is what you wanted, and so you have to understand programming to use AI successfully, but it absolutely is changing the way software is written, and likely for the better, right? And so I think going forward, a lot of jobs will not be around. There will always be some software jobs, but if it's something that millions of people need, a faculty member was telling me this the other day, if it's something millions of people need, AI can probably do it. If it's something that a few companies need, this is where we need individuals who understand how to solve a problem that's never been solved before, and use AI perhaps as a tool to do that. But it's been interesting to see.
I mean, it's interesting hearing you talk about it because it really is your industry.
Oh yeah, this is us. And on the hardware side, so I came from Intel. Intel makes processors, general purpose processors, and now you see a lot of the market demanding more very focused processors that can do lots of computations to enable AI. So the hardware demands have changed. What your computer looks like to do AI has shifted, and so we try to follow that too, right?
Absolutely. Are you teaching students that they, like what you were saying, that they're not dispensable because of this AI technology,
absolutely.
that they're still valuable and needed in the industry, and they can still be specialists in whatever field?
Absolutely. And I've been very impressed with our faculty. They don't shy away from using AI in the classroom. They don't say, oh no, don't touch AI. I still need you to be a programmer. They're actually saying, hey, AI's here. Let's teach you how to use it to improve your code writing. And they've really embraced that, which is great because that's what the industry is doing. So.
Yeah, that's cool. Did you want to add to that at all?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to think about, like, people are using AI learning here, and it's helping them learn, and then in the future they're going to be working with and improving AI. It's kind of interesting to think about the loop of it all.
I know, absolutely. Would you say that it threatens your field at all, or it's just something that is a tool that you just are going to have to use and adapt?
I think it's overall a helpful thing. An old analogy, I guess, but when calculators came onto the scene, that doesn't mean we don't need mathematicians anymore, right? You still need mathematicians. Maybe they're not doing problems by longhand and slide rules, but you still need somebody who understands math, and they're going to use the calculator to do it. It's a similar thing. It's changing what your job looks like, but there always needs to be humans involved to make sure that we're actually addressing the problem that we have. And when new problems come up, AI is really just grabbing from the knowledge that exists and applying it. Sure. If a new challenge comes up that has never been solved before, that's a human, right? And we're going to use tools to solve it, but absolutely. So it's just changing the way our jobs look. I don't think it's eliminating them, just changing them.
So as technology continues to advance at just rapid paces, I can't keep up with all the changes. I can't even keep up with my device every 2 years. I just feel like even that is a rapid change. But do you have new things coming down the pipeline in your department, or do you find that what you cover right now pretty much represents everything that's in the field?
No, I mean, some of the fundamentals don't change. For example, electricity is electricity. It's not changing. So we teach these fundamentals, but the way we're applying them changes. Renewable energy is on the scene. There's more interest in that. Especially in the software space, our faculty have had to be very agile, nimble, and say, all right, I used to teach you how to code this way. AI came here a year ago, and now I got to teach you how to code this way. And so it does change very quickly, very quickly.
Interesting. So how has it been being an electrical engineering major for the last 4 years, and having teachers who have real world experience? What learning are you drawing from them?
A ton of learning. They bring a lot to the table. They have this compassion and this love for what they teach and a love for the students. And I feel like that draws in the students' attention, and it just makes them feel more comfortable and more willing to ask questions. And, inside and outside of what you're learning, it just brings this environment, the spirit of Rick's, if you will. It's just really interesting to see the love that the professors have, and especially in our department. I can speak for, I don't know about other departments, but I've definitely seen a lot of that.
How do you feel like disciple leadership applies to what you're doing right now?
Disciple leadership, that's a good question. I feel like a lot of it comes into play. We're going into engineering where, stereotypical, there's a lot of shyness and going on in the workforce. And I feel like our professors are trying to teach us how to be a light of Christ, to stand out, and how to speak our minds, good and bad. And I feel like that helps us a lot in the workforce as we're just learning to love God's children. And, that in turn makes us feel more comfortable and more willing to share what we know.
Yeah, good. So you recently came from the industry. What was it like being a disciple leader out in the world?
Yeah, I think it's the word disciple leader, right? There's the leader piece. So like Jade said, we want to be sharing our ideas and our opinions and trying to steer the work into a direction that helps humanity, not just makes money. Right. But then the disciple piece, what I really noticed is there are always people who can get the job done. Mm-hmm. Some people get that job done by attacking or, whipping or belittling others to put you into submission, I guess, or just get you to do what needs to be done. I feel like a disciple leader is going to lead by example, through kindness, through encouragement. And it's a totally different approach, and actually leads to better retention at the job site, better camaraderie, running over people to get the job done. It gets the job done, but it really leaves behind a mess and a toxic culture. So I would hope that students, and I've already seen this, that students who graduate from BYU-Idaho are not just known for being technically good, but they care about people and they care about how the job gets done, and they're going to build others around them as they work together.
Yeah, awesome. I love that. So how is it being analytically minded and spiritually minded at the same time?
It can be a challenge, but I think it's really good. So we have to, the things of the Spirit we learn through the Spirit, but science and engineering is all about data gathering, right? And we use our 5 senses for that. And so sometimes the analytical mind can say, all right, I don't believe this until I see it with my eyes. Well, there's some things we're just not going to see in this life. But I think the analytical part is good because it lets you ask questions and challenge your faith and result with a stronger testimony, right? I think everybody has to go through their own process of deciding, what do I believe and how does that jive with science? And I've arrived at a place where I don't see a conflict. I don't see a conflict.
Because science means knowledge and God is knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. There is one truth, right? Mm-hmm. As scientists and engineers, we're learning more about what he has to teach us. Just because we learn how he does something doesn't mean that he's not there doing it, right? He's allowing us to learn some of this knowledge. So to me, it's helped just remember that science is about the how, and religion is largely about the why. Why are we here? What's it all about?
I like that. Did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting what you said. It's the analytical and the academic side of it. They go together, and the spiritual side of it. Sorry, the academic and the spiritual side of it. They do run together, and I've had several professors, especially in the department, they start and they give their little spiritual thought, and they take it with them throughout the lesson. But they try to teach us to keep in mind that, Jesus Christ did design the world, so we can rely on him to help us when we're struggling, what we're learning.
I love that. I love all these perspectives and the application that I've been learning from your college as a whole, just because I feel like, oh my gosh, you're right, Nephi did build a ship. Of course, that applies to construction management.
Yeah, there you go.
Jesus did design the world, and I guess I don't know, I hope I'm not going too off script here, but this is just a Natalia Hepworth question. But as far as technology and the principles of eternity, I've just heard some people say oh, we won't have computers in the next life, or it's not like this is doctrine or anything, but I just want to know your opinion. How does technology, how can we think celestial about technology?
I like that.
It's a really good question. I think from my perspective myself, what we're learning is really fundamental, and it's really on a atomic level. So we're just learning about atoms and how they move and, what makes them up. Everything is made of atoms. And I think that regardless if there's computers or not in, the celestial kingdom, that we're learning about Earth, and we're learning also how to learn. And so the knowledge is just going to keep coming. But either way, we have a really good understanding of how the world around us works.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Thank you.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you think about the human body, for example, just the human eye is amazing, right? I find it interesting when we make robots, we're always trying to, not always, but often we're trying to mimic humans. In other words, we're trying to replicate it because it's so good. The brain is a computer, right? So
there is electricity going on up
absolutely.
here.
Yeah, the electricity is keeping your heart going. It's sending all the signals to our body. So they're absolutely relevant. Absolutely.
Well, good. It sounds like you have a good hold on thinking celestial with technology. Sometimes I think it's hard for us to learn how to apply our spiritual mind to our industry. But we really try to do that here at BYU-Idaho. How are you continuing to teach students to apply their testimony to the things that they're doing?
Yeah, I start all of my classes and I ask students, what's been the greatest invention in the last 80 years? And it's fun to hear their answers and why they picked that. Pretty much always they have to do with technology. And I then remind students, okay, you're going to be part of that. You're going to be part of the new technology that comes out. Do you think that these inventions happened by accident, or do you think God had a hand in them? And almost always God had a hand in this to help humanity, to help his children. That could be furthering the work of the gospel. It can even just be improving quality of life, right? Technology has blessed so many people. It's opened the doors of education globally, for example, and that's a good thing. So I try to help students realize we can bless the world, we can bless God's children through these inventions. And by the way, these inventions, we might think we're smart, but I think that God's just giving us knowledge little by little and letting us know a little bit about what he knows.
Yeah, absolutely. How's your testimony increased in your major?
What do you mean, like my testimony of just in general? Yeah, I think there's been a lot of trials, and I have professors that are constantly helping me to realize that there's always help. There's always help in the world, help us to learn and help us to grow, and that's what they're trying to do for us here. They're just trying to grow their students, and I definitely feel like I've been a part of that growth.
Yeah.
So,
how do you feel being in the department where you are taking science fiction and turning it to science fact, so to speak? I mean, maybe you're not like inventing certain things, but you are working in a fast-paced industry, or you will be. So what does it feel? How does it feel to be a part of something that's ever-changing, but
yeah, I kind of like what Brother Jack said a second ago about how new inventions, about God's hand being in it. So I was thinking, it made me think about like when I have my own papers and patents like Brother Jack does, that I'll be able to look back at that and say like, wow, that was God's hand in that work.
Yeah, very cool. Are you able to disclose what those patents are, or is that like
a lot of them
secret?
No, I mean, a lot of them were when I worked at Intel. So when you work for a company, they own your brain. So any patent you produce, they own. But my name's on it, right? And they give you some money to say thank you or whatever. But if you search me, then you find my name on these patents. So a lot of them Intel owns. It was part of my job to create new things, right? I did some as a graduate or as a student, a college student. So a lot were related. So Intel makes chips. A lot of them were related to how do we make our chips more robust? How do we test them more accurately? So that's the general idea.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, is there anything else that you guys would like to add about your department just in general?
It's the best.
It's fun, right?
We won, in my opinion.
Just eliminate everything.
Right.
Yeah. It's just a place where I think you can embrace being a little bit nerdy. Go for it. That's who we are. We try to work on our people skills too, because maybe we're awkward at that. So what? Everybody has a place. Everybody has something you can do to contribute, and it's just a fun department because a lot of students will start out and think, oh, I want to be a programmer. And then they learn, oh, actually, I kind of like web, or I kind of like the hardware, or maybe I thought I liked hardware, but I wanted software. So you can kind of move around in there, and we can help you figure that out.
Yeah,
so,
do you have any advice for students that might be intimidated by all the math they have to do?
That's tough. That's a tough question. You're going to learn it. Even if you think you don't like math, you're going to learn it. There's plenty of resources here on campus, and your professors and fellow classmates, those are a huge help as well, that are going to help you learn it. So don't be scared of it. Just embrace it and learn how to use it, because once you learn it, it's really cool.
Yeah, very
Well, some of these majors require more than others for
Right.
math. So sometimes a student just says, the math is a showstopper for me. And we say, okay, well, here's a path you could take that is less math intensive, but still works with technology. So there's a lot of options.
Well, I've heard that if you're good at math, you're pretty much good at every subject. So we really all should be embracing that, I think.
That's right.
Well, our last question is, how are you fulfilling the mission here at BYU-Idaho? We can start with you.
Sure. So our mission is to develop disciple leaders, essentially. And I think we do that in our department by preparing you for a high-paying, fulfilling job, challenging job, high-demand job that lets you support a family or yourself or whoever that might be. And at the same time, you can get that anywhere. But here, we also try to help you see how you can use that to bless God's children, improve the world around you, and do it in a way that builds others along the way.
Yeah, I definitely agree. We're here to build up others. If I didn't have those around me, my classmates, to build me up, I probably wouldn't be where I am in my studies. And I feel like that's just a super important part, to get to know your classmates. And because we're here for 4 years, it's a long time, so might as well not just grow our brains, but also grow our spiritual side as well. And I feel like BYU does, and their professors, they do a really good job at that.
Thank you. Well, awesome. Thank you guys so much. Jade Ford, Nathan Jack.
Thank you.
Thank you.